Yaakov is traveling back to visit his father, to be reunited with family he hasn't been with in more than 2 decades. And along the way he gets the frightening news that his brother Esav is coming to greet him. Esav, the one he ran away from, the one who he was scared of, who wanted to kill him, is traveling on the path and they're going to meet. Yaakov gets very nervous and he comes up with a whole plan of how he's going to deal with Esav. And one part of the plan is that he's going to send him a gift. He sent him an elaborate gift of different animals, and he sends a heartfelt message of peace to his brother. And they're reunited. And Esav says, "What's with all this that you sent me?" He says, "Yesh li rov." Esav says, "I have so much. Keep what you have. I don't need it. I have so much." Wonderful message. But listen to Yaakov's response. He says, "God has been kind to me. V'yesh li kol. I have everything." Esau is traveling with 400 men. Esau is a general. He's a powerful soldier. He has so much. He says, "I have so much. What do I need from you?" Yaakov is the one being chased. The one scared for his life says, "I have everything." Really? Do you have everything? You just you just ran away from your father for 2 decades. You stayed by your father-in-law who treated you terribly and was a charlatan and tricked you many times and stole a tremendous amount from you. You had to run away from your father-in-law. You suffered so much along the way. Do you really have everything? But the answer is that having everything versus having a lot is not about how much you have in your bank account. It's not about what you have in terms of your assets, liquid or other. It's about your attitude. It's about your mindset. Esav's mindset is, I have a lot, but I can always have more. There's always more that I have. There's a Yaakov out there who I want to capture. There's people out there that have more. There's more than I want to plunder. Yaakov says, no. Yesh li kol, I have everything. Because having everything has nothing to do with your bank account. It has nothing to do with your status in the world. It has to do with your internal world, with your perspective. I want to tell you an amazing story that illustrates this. I had the privilege of growing up having a mentor by the name of Rabbi Shkop, a great Torah scholar, who had a huge impact on my life. Rabbi Shkop and his wife did not have any children. He lived to be a ripe old age, close to 90 years old, and he passed away in 2001. 6 years later, his wife, all alone, living in Brooklyn for decades, decides to move to Israel by herself. I went to visit her with my family literally the day she left for Israel. I didn't hear from her for a number of years. I would call her periodically, we'd have brief conversations, and then finally I went to Israel, I went to visit her, and it was amazing to see her. Here she was in her late 90s. And one of those trips, I went to visit her, and she lived in an assisted living home. And it was a large building. And I went to her apartment. I knocked on the door. Nobody answered. I went to the front desk. They told me maybe she's in this room. She's in that room. She's in the dining room. I couldn't find her. And I said, you know what? Maybe I won't get to visit her this time. And I started leaving the building. And then I said to myself, she's 98 years old. Who knows if I'll ever get to see her again? And I persevered and I found her. And I walk into the room that she's sitting in and she sees me and she stands up with joy and she says, oh, a Yid, a Jew from Texas is here. Come, let's sit down and talk. And we went to her apartment. And we sat and spoke for a while. And then as the conversation came to a standstill and things got quiet, she started thinking, and she said the most amazing thing. The Rebbetzin Shkop, as we referred to her, said, you know, in my life, now that I think about it, I don't feel like I ever was missing anything in my life. There was never anything lacking. I said to myself, my gosh, you escaped Eastern Europe right before the Holocaust. Your entire family was destroyed. You had no children. Your husband, who was the love of your life, has passed away. You're living in Israel all alone. You have no close relatives there. You certainly don't have money or fame. And you're never missing anything in your life. She's a grandchild of Yaakov. V'chi li kol, I have everything. Take stock of what you have in life, what's really important to you, what really has value, and live a life of V'chi li kol, I have everything. Good Shabbos.